Alright guys, and here is finally the video review for MP-36 Masterpiece Megatron. Sorry about that, I had a little thing on the screen here. He's a gun, like old school Megatron was, with the barrel extension and the scope and the stock. And he doesn't all fit. He's pretty much taking up my entire review space here. He's about 20, from the tip of this barrel to the farthest tip, this one, because it kind of angles back a little bit, of the stock, he's about 26 inches long. He is not a he's not a small bot here. Was it 26? Was it 21? You know what? I'm gonna go get the measuring tape and we're gonna settle this right now. So from is he taller than Ford Max? Yep, 26 inches. So, he's a bad mamma jamma. And you can hold him like a gun. He's got a little spring trigger. Of all the recent Masterpiece Megatron analogs, whether it be Make Toys, DX9, Apollyon, or X-Transbots, or this Masterpiece, he does feel he's the most comfortable to hold in hand as a gun. Not from this angle. This is not comfortable. But just holding in your hand, he just seems to fit the best. Now, obviously, this is the long gun mode. There's some issues with the stock, possibly scraping the barrel. It does a little bit. I've been very careful. I have a tiny, tiny little chip. And it's not, like, most of the issues are not super visible in robot mode, which is where he will likely spend his time. I don't know when he'll be going back into gun mode after this video review is done. But I will say that, like, if you take your time and you learn the steps and you're patient with it, like, there's a lot of parts that are probably going to rub a little bit over time. It's just going to happen, no matter how careful you are with it. But a lot of the scarier reports we've been seeing, as long as you take your time and you're patient with it, you'll learn the system, you'll get it all down. And it really isn't, once you know where everything goes, like, it only took me a couple times through the process to really kind of get a feel for it and get the transformation down. He does have sounds up here in his scope. Right now it is set. It takes 2 LR44 batteries. They go right in the bottom. I'll show that off in a little bit. But there's his gun firing noise. If you go back to this is the little switch. If you switch it to the middle position, he'll yell at you in Japanese. Transform, and he'll yell at you various phrases. If you pull it all the way back, you'll get the 2 different versions of the transformation sound, both ascending and descending. And that's what you get in this little barrel, or not the barrel, the little scope. So to transform him, first off, you want to take this off, and this is where you got to be really careful. I find that if you put a direct pressure and pull it straight off, you'll have less issue with the rubbing. It's still possible, but the slower and straighter you pull this off, the less likely you're going to chip it. Like I said, I have a tiny, tiny little rub spot. I don't even know if you can see it here. And as long as you're slow and patient, because there's a little ridge inside this, in this piece right here, you can almost kind of see the seam. I don't know how well the light's picking that up. I can see it just fine, but I don't know how well it's showing up on camera. But right about where this ridge is inside here, there's a little seam, and there's a little rough raised ridge, just barely raised over the thing. You can probably sand this out. Some people seem to have that, have done that, and say it helps. That would really alleviate the scraping on the outside of the barrel. Some people have said to do something to, like, inside, take it apart and do something with this peg piece inside here, because there's a peg in here that fits into the end of the barrel. And honestly, I'm not super worried if, like, something gets scraped on the inside of the barrel. It's inside the barrel. I'm not concerned about that. But like I said, this seems to be, and I could be wrong, but this seems to be the logical place where we're just catching on this little ridge of the barrel itself. But yeah, there's that. We can turn that into a gun later on. You can see there's little bits to flip out, but we'll do that later. This piece just kind of friction slides down off of the stock. You can see I've got a little bit of rub there. That kind of annoys me, but Yeah. That's going to end up inside his leg or in the back of his leg. You're not really going to notice that in robot mode, but it is there. And you can see there's the little tab and these little friction pegs here, which latch into a couple little grooves here on the back of the gun. And there's the base gun itself, because that's what you need to make Megatron as a robot. This will make a flight stand for him. It's posable here, and it splits out as well as it becomes the standard old school weapons platform. But we'll do that again later in the video. We're focused on Megatron himself. Now, the instructions show this transformation all the way through with the scope attached. You can do it that way. I do recommend. I actually had, when I turned him back into a gun, I left it on the whole time, just to see that I could do it. For the first few times, you may want to take this off, and it just basically slides back a little bit. Again, could conceivably cause some scraping. Although here I haven't had, maybe a little bit of rub there, I guess. But it comes off, and you collapse the barrel, and now it's ready for robot mode. Here's the little screw, and like this is a hinged panel, and there's even a washer on the inside of the screw so it doesn't get loose. You unscrew that, you flip open the panel, you put in the 2 batteries, and this is ready to go. On to the gun itself. And what's crazy, like, one, about how this all folds up, this little piece, it looks like there's a little tab here on the front that should latch under this piece, but unless you just get that perfectly fit, there's something pushing, and it's not because I did it wrong. It's just that should lock in a little better like that. But just the movement and the friction between pieces can kind of bring that forward and pop that out. It stays in place pretty well regardless, but just so you know. But like what's crazy is, like, you know, here's his head. Here are his arms back here. Here's his chest behind the thing. His legs. These right here are actually his thighs sticking out the back to form this shape, which is crazy. The way he transforms is crazy, and we'll get right to it. But yeah, little spring trigger, little basic gun, Decepticon symbol on both sides. It does have a lot of panel lines, kind of unavoidable for this transformation, but the transformation itself is really freaking awesome. That they could do this. So we'll start off by splitting the arms. I'm actually bring these down like this. The little hammer, cock the hammer back. These sit inside the legs when we're all said and done. You kind of want to pull the whole arm assembly, and the arm assembly comes all the way up here. I think you want to split these whole assemblies here and pull them out and bring it forward. Off to the side like that. There is arms. Off to the side. You can go ahead, if you want, you can go ahead and flip this panel in. It makes it a little easier. It just gives you a little bit more clearance. The instructions have that step very early on, going from robot to gun. So if you do it exactly backwards, it would be later, but go ahead and flip that in. This piece right here flips up. And then we start going to town on the legs. So these panels come up off of here. If I can get this detached. There we go. Get those out. You unhook this from here. This can fold down behind here if you want to go ahead and do that. The legs come down. And here's what I'm talking about. Here's the butt, you know, the back here behind the hammer, the pistol. You bring these down, and these pieces fold in and then spring up and form the front of his legs. We'll go ahead and split the legs here just to make it a little easier. You bring that down, and now you're looking at the front of his thighs. Crazy. And these pieces, like I said, fold in and tab in to the sides of the back of the knee here. Kind of rotate the arms out of the way here. Get them up and out. We're going to do the waist piece next, and you see these pieces come up like this. Here the hips fold these down flat like this. These panels, they kind of move to give them some hip movement in robot mode. They also, if you're having trouble folding this up, there's a gap right in here that these go into, and you can, so that gives them a little bit of room to squeeze together, just a little bit more to fit into that gap. You'll see what I'm talking about when you do this yourself. We flip these back and around like this. These panels right here fold up in half. And you come around to the back here, and these panels fold in and kind of clip in right here under this hook and into the back here. These panels rotate down, come down to the side to form the side flaps. And then, of course, there's the hip panels in the front. the robot hips, and again, it helps. There's a screw under here, right in here where these gray panels sit, right in there. And if you loosen that a couple of turns, this process going back and forth is much easier. Pulling, because you can see these hips need to rotate up into the body. And when I first got mine was super tight. It's doable, but it's just so much nicer because they do latch into place in both positions. So much easier to loosen that screw a couple turns right there. But yeah, so you flip the hips up like that. We'll go ahead and tap these back in to where they should be. And then the legs. God, look at how skinny these legs are. This leg transformation is also pretty insane. Here's most of his foot. So we come out here, and we've got to split these. Some little hinges in here. These pieces in here fold out on hinges. One goes up, one goes down. Maybe, am I doing this wrong? No, this is just a matter of getting it all. Maybe, or let's go ahead and pop this off first. Maybe we can see that. So pull this out. And then I feel like this one's supposed to go, yeah, this one goes down and this one goes up. This is really just a matter. This is the most trouble I've had with this bit since I started doing it. Probably because I'm shooting it on camera, and of course now is the time when it's like, oh great, no, now I'm not going to work with you. Go ahead, fine. Come on. All right, and this this one's giving me a little trouble, but this should come out like this. Yeah, there we go. You pull them out. This inner panel comes, this outer panel comes up. This piece comes down. And once you do that, you can flip this little piece right here out. This piece folds up onto the leg like that, and you can see where this tabs together right here like this. This panel lifts up. This piece rotates down to form the lower part of the heel. You open this up, you flip this panel in, and then this panel comes up and snaps back into the back of the leg. Like that. This comes up. You got to bring this up, actually this way. So this panel flips up to form the front of the foot, and then all of this folds in, kind of slots in just here like that, and then this folds in to form the bottom of the foot like that. We'll show it on the other side. So again, over here, oh, this one's actually already mostly done. But like, so you widen this back up, you bring this inner panel down, and this panel up. Bring this up. I'll lift this inner panel up and out of the way here. Come here, you. There we go. So lift this up and bring these together, just like that. Fold this down, pull this out, flip this in, and snap that back up into place in the back of the leg. Lift this up, fold the toe around, start to fold this both this way and this way, and that will allow it to fold in. And once you get to about right here, then fold it in like that, snap that all the way into place, fold up the heel, fold that up, and there his whole lower body is done. And now for the craziness. So we'll go ahead and tilt his ankles, get him standing here. We'll come up to the upper half of his body. First off, as you might imagine, just looking at him, we've got to rotate his hips, or rotate his whole waist around. The arms out of the way, rotate the waist around to the front. The arms come out. This whole assembly you can start to want to lift up. Again, you want to be careful here. You don't want to put too much pressure directly on the barrel itself, separating these. But these two halves come out like this. And they should open up. There we go, like that. And then this piece opens up to the side like this. And this whole assembly is going to fold down onto the back. Like this. And we'll mess with this in a minute. So these pieces right here, go ahead and open up that in half. You can see his chest plate there. Actually, before we do that, right here, you want to flip these panels down to form his side abs. That's easy enough. The arms come up and you want to rotate them here flat. That will allow this to come all the way in and allow these to snap up into place here behind the head like that. And then the arms, you extend the arms out like this at the elbow, flip his wrist out, or flip his fist out there, fold this panel up to form that. This piece, fold this piece down to be flat, and rotate this around here on his arm. Rotate it forward like this. This piece we already folded up. Actually, though, rotate it this way. One of these ways. Anyway, this piece comes up. One of these pieces comes up. Oh, there we go. This piece comes up. This piece also flips up like this. And you rotate it around so this comes around to the back. This piece should be on the back. Open up this panel right here like this. Flip up his little shoulder tab. Fold this piece in. And then this whole assembly, if you do it right, should fold right into place up here. Something's not sitting right here. This is extended, this is flipped. All right, 1 second, we'll figure it out. I've done this several times. All right, and for some reason, literally the minute I turned the camera off, it folded in like it should. But yeah, this just folds in. So this opens up, and this piece just folds all the way in, and then you flip that down, and you're good to go. Rotate his wrist. That's one arm done. Same thing over here. I'm going to go ahead and extend it at the elbow. Rotate this panel here around and down like that. Flip out his fist. If we can get a grip on it here. There we go. Flip out his fist. Fold this panel up. This panel, like I said, we already folded this panel up. Open this panel out. This panel folds in. Like I said, these panels right here, getting them around this corner can be a little scary the first few times. But lift that up, bring the arm down, open this up, fold this panel in, lift this up halfway. Oh, maybe that was just getting in the way. So fold this up, lift it up, fold it all the way and snap it into place, and then fold that hinge all the way up. And his arms are done. These panels open up, flip this panel down, and rotate this whole thing around. Actually, you want to go this way. Whole panel down, this panel up like this, and this is going to fold in right here under the arm. Same with this. Fold it down, fold it down, fold it up, and then fold it in right under the arm there. Like that. The whole ab section collapses down into here. Just like that. It comes down and out. You push it and it comes down and out, and then you can rotate this around to form his chest. You can see we're getting there. Rotate this fist around. And then on the back here, this panel folds up. These panels fold kind of down and rotate onto the inside here. Just like that. There's one side done. Over here, we rotate this panel around, bring it down, fold it down inside there, and then the barrel flips up and around onto his back. You want to rotate it so this can fold all the way up. Rotate it so that the little sight is facing forward. And as of one final little step, you take this, you attach it just like we did before. There's a little groove there that goes over the top one. Slide it onto his arm, and there is Megatron in robot mode. It's a pretty impressive transformation all told, and results in a very nice figure. Like I said, you're going to get some paint rub on there, even when you're being careful. You can be, the slower you go, the more likely it is that you'll have minimal paint rub, or even no paint rub. I mean, like we said, if you take it really, really slow, maybe you won't have any issues. But there's a lot of pieces that can conceivably rub against each other, and I would expect them to, because making sure that was not cracked. It's just a seam where some paint is rubbed off a little bit. But yeah, look at that. I mean, that's a nice looking Megatron. And if you're looking for a toon-based Megatron, this really is it. There have been several attempts at a masterpiece scale Megatron, and all of them I think have done something right. And some of them have done some things that maybe weren't great, but they've all done something decent. I don't think anything is going to top this for a cartoon accurate Megatron, unless Takara does another one. Like, this one is so cartoon Megatron that I almost kind of want a new Starscream and Optimus to go with it. And I really liked MP-10, and I feel like maybe it's time to do a new Optimus that's even more cartoony. I don't know. But he's a wonderful Megatron. I've had all of the other various ones. The one I still have here, and I'll bring him in right now, is Make Toys Despotron. And I feel like these two can absolutely coexist on my shelf, because this one is clearly G1 cartoon Megatron. This one has more of a Don Figueroa look to it, I feel. And I'm fine with them coexisting on my shelf. Entirely up to you. Other size comparisons before we get into all the goodies and such, since I have them here. First off, we can't bring him in without comparing him to Optimus MP-10, and they look great together. Like I said, I would like a slightly more cartoon accurate Optimus now that we've got such a great looking Megatron, but those two look great on the shelf together. I'm really happy with that. Here he is with his loyal Lieutenant Soundwave. Again, a little bigger, a little taller, but I think that, like I said, Soundwave I always felt was around the same height, maybe even a little bigger than Megatron, but scale, as the leader, I have less of an issue on my shelf with Megatron being bigger than Soundwave. With Starscream, because of course you got to have them together, and that looks decent to me. Maybe Starscream was a little taller in relation to Megatron, but again, Megatron being a slightly larger leader, I feel like that scale works for me with these two. Again, would like maybe a slightly more cartoon accurate Starscream, although both MP-10 and is this one 11? I remember MP-03 was the first Starscream. But anyway, this Starscream, Megatron, and Soundwave, and Optimus all, I think, look really good with him on the shelf. Just for fun as well, since there's a little nod to it on the toy itself from the movie and his reformatting. Here he is with Tyrant, or Sovereign. No, this is Fans Toy Sovereign. And those two look outstanding together. I was reaching a point where I was almost like, do I want to sell my Fans Toy Sovereign? And then, no. This is what it comes down to. Those two look great together. Although, Sovereign, very hefty. Like, weight-wise, very much a difference between the two of them. And now we get to the accessories, and he does come with several. Now he's got his energy mace, and this is the one thing I don't like to swap out because it does a little slide. Oh, actually, that's not too bad, but you have to slide it. Actually, that's way easier than it was the other day. But you slide his fist out, and then you slide this up into the slot. It's a matter of getting it all lined up properly. That was not it. There we go. And he's got his energy mace. And what I love about the energy mace here is that you've got the loose chain if you want to have it just kind of hanging and swinging freely, which is absolutely an option. But they've also given you if you take the loose chain out and it just unpegs, a molded chain with hinges in it that you can put and you can plug in, swap right back on. Again, the right angle. So now you can have him posing in dynamic. I'm swinging my mace around poses. Granted, that's not the best, but if you want to have his arm coming back and have his mace up in the air like that, you can get some cool dynamic poses. Admittedly, more dynamic than what I'm doing here, but I like that it's got the chain and some posability as well as the loose hanging chain for representation. He comes with his beam saber, which again doesn't light up but can be detached, so you can have him holding just the handle if you want, or with the full beam effect intact, and he can hold that in his hand. He also comes with his small laser pistol that he used to shoot Optimus while saying "fall, fall," his favorite season. Oh, come on. Oh, I got... Well, no. Okay. That should be pegging in there. I don't know why this is giving me such a hard time. Come on. Oh, there we go. I just wasn't pushing it down far enough. So now he's got his little laser pistol. He comes with his little helmet. Ooh, a little purple helmet. Which I vaguely remember when he had that. Mind controlling. But helmet. He comes with the key to Vector Sigma, which he can hold in his hand. You can wrap his thumb is posable, so you can hold that in his hand like that if you want to give him the key to Vector Sigma. He comes with several different faces. He's got his plain face that he comes packaged with. He's got, and to swap out the face, you just kind of pop it. You just push it from the chin up, straight up. And underneath that, you've got the really cool tech detail behind his face from the movie. So, like I said, that's when I pulled, well, the gun and the laser sword and all that also from the movie. But when I mentioned there was a cool little detail on why I pulled out Sovereign, it was that from his reformatting scene. I like that. But he's also got his angry yelly face. And he's got his "my master plan is complete, ha 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 ha" face. And he's also got his beat up, leaking, damaged face from his "It's Over" Prime face from the movie, which seems a little out of place on his body right now. But this piece right here that we rotated earlier, you can just push off and pop off the rotating bit, and you can snap on this damaged chest plate to reenact when he was all beat up. Granted, his arms still look the same. They didn't give you a complete replacement beat up Megatron figure, but if you want that look, you can do it. I don't think that I'll have those installed that often, but like I said, the options are there if you want them. Oh, see, I'm lifting this whole torso piece up there. So we'll go ahead and pop his. Also, if you're worried about, excuse me, any paint damage to the face, you can pop it off during. You can leave it off during transformation if you don't want to risk chipping any of the face paint. Although I haven't had any issues with that really being a problem, but I guess it could be. Also, he has the ability to take all of this stuff and attach it, fold it around and attach it back here. So this comes forward and he's got and then this slides onto the front and it makes like a gun face thing. I guess that's cool, but I will not do, I don't think I'll use that. I don't see the point of that. The old toy could do it, which is great, but whatever. This piece can flip forward here in the middle of, should be able to flip forward. I don't know why this is giving me such a hard time here. Maybe do I need to push a button? Oh, there we go. Oh, wow, look at that. Look at that, man. I messed up my thumbnail. All right, and this becomes a flight stand. Let's put that up. And you can attach this back here. Oh no, this way. Is it this way? You know, it looks like it has to be that way, but there we go. Like this, I guess. Well, no, that doesn't fit either. Like this, I guess. Here we go, yeah, like this. I feel like that should really be working. But you can attach... Whoa, okay, I'm bleeding. Alright, let's go take care of that real quick. Alright, so that's what happens when... like I said, I have not used it. It should just plug right up in... There we go, just like that. It should snap up in there. There we go, just like that. Now you do it. Now you work just fine. Now that I'm bloody and gross, but you can turn this into a little flying display stand for him. Anyway, that was my fault. I have not used this at all as a display stand. I read the instructions on how it worked, and I'm like, why is this not working? So, and then you got to get it out of there somehow. Which will maybe eventually do here. Should be, there we go. Attach that onto that. As well as take his fusion cannon off. And use these little rails here on the side of it to slide it right into here. And then fold out these handles. And if you want, you can give him his old school gun emplacement. He can reach out and hold it if you want him to. You can actually bring his arms up and have him grab the, move his thumb, and grab each of the handles and have him shoot the cannon. So there's that. Alright, now I'm trying to get this back out of here. There we go. Alright, let's fold this all back up into place. So like I said, a lot of his accessories probably going to stay in the box. Really all you need to play with him fully is what you see right here with the arm cannon. But you have a lot of options to display him with. Now real quick, since we haven't done it yet, we'll do a quick how he poses. So you've got the head. It's on a ball joint in there, and it's got a pretty decent range of motion here. Ratchety arms there, ratchety arms that way. Bicep swivel. It's kind of a hinge elbow, but it does allow a pretty decent range of motion there in the arm. It does kind of look a little empty back here, but not as bad as Masterpiece Primals. Now when you do that. It does have waist swivel. The arm, the fingers, the thumb can move independently, and then the fingers, the index finger has 2 knuckles in it. These also have a knuckle here and a knuckle down here, but these are all together. The last 3 fingers are all together on both hands. Waist swivel. Said you got ratcheting hips forward and back, and pretty stiff, just swivels out to the side. Bicep swivel. There's no double hinge knee, but the hinge that's there, the way he's designed, you can get a pretty nice fold to his leg. You got some good front and back toe articulation that, again, ratchets, as well as a stiff swivel for a big range of ankle tilt. So you can get a lot of pretty dynamic poses out of him. And he poses easily, like even with the clicking, even with the ratchet joints, like they're smooth ratchet joints. I'm really happy with how easy it is to manipulate him into various poses. So yeah, all in all, this lives up to the name Masterpiece, I feel. If you're looking for it to keep a figure absolutely pristine, don't transform it. Not to saying that like you won't be careful enough. It's just you have to be really careful when you're transforming it, or you are going to have some little spots of paint rub. Now, if you're careful, they will be minimized. Like I said, a lot of it I don't notice, and most of the spots that scuff will be more visible, I think, in gun mode than robot mode. But like I said, if you want him to always stay absolutely 100% pristine, transforming him is not really what you want to do. There are fixes for some of the places that rub. online, and you can certainly look into those. You're more than welcome to take advantage of those. I just want to make that clear from the get-go that there's a high chance of some paint rubbing off. I would have liked, because he is painted, his entire body is painted in a slightly metallic. He's not super metallic, but it's not just a dull gray. There is a slight sparkle to it, which is it looks really handsome in person. It's just, it would have been nice if they could have found a good gray plastic that color to mold it in versus painting pretty much every surface of this guy. Might have alleviated some of those problems, but it's hard to argue with the end result of the look of the final figure. I absolutely think he's worth it. I think he looks great on a Masterpiece shelf. I don't know that it's going to be possible to top this as a cartoon Megatron representation on your shelf. I just don't know how they could top this and still have it be transformable. Certainly you can make a slightly more comic accurate Megatron or cartoon accurate Megatron that didn't have to turn into a gun. That was just a robot action figure. And maybe there's some appeal for that too, but this is insane. When you think about what MP5 was, which I know was designed in a very short period of time, this guy just stands above and beyond. He's one of my favorite masterpieces, although I am still quite fond of MP10 and Optimus Primal and several others that I've reviewed recently. There's a lot of nice figures in the Masterpiece line. I don't know if there's anything currently that just blows me away the way this Megatron does. It's a really neat transformation, and once you get the steps down, it really isn't super difficult. It's just a matter of being careful and taking the time to make sure you're moving everything at the right time in the right direction. And once you know those steps, it's completely manageable, and it's kind of fun, and it's really neat to see a robot like this turn into a completely alternate form of that gun, and then vice versa, seeing the gun unfold and fold around into a really nice representation of Megatron on the shelf. If you've got the means and you're collecting Masterpiece, I do highly recommend it. I think he's really nice. Just be aware that you're probably going to get some paint rub, and there are some areas to be careful with. Take your time and enjoy it. But you get a lot of accessories for the price, and I just think it's a really fantastic version of Megatron. And that's nothing against some of the other third-party ones that have come out. I do still very much like Despotron. I thought DX9's Mitron did some good things. So it's really up to you what you want on your shelf, but if you're looking for a cartoon Megatron, this is pretty much it. And I can't think of anything else to say.